Guam. So we wanted to bring from the Department of Agriculture. He is the Chief of Agriculture Development, Mr. John Borja, to the show. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Chris.
Hi, John.
Hi.
So I guess we could just start. I got some pictures from some farmers this morning. We're going to throw those up on our feed. Can you just give us your assessment of the situation the average local farmer on Guam is going through right now because of COVID-19?
Yes, yes, sure. The biggest thing is that because of the lockdown and the social distancing, a lot of the exchange of goods with the farmers and with the retailers, as well as the restaurants and hotels, has diminished in regards to basically the lockdown and because of the pandemic. It's unfortunate, however, all these perishable items are not moving as quickly as possible, and a lot of these are basically same kind of crops, same type of crops that are being sold in the markets that are basically have a short shelf life, that are basically are being lost because there's no consumables that are being sold to restaurants as well as to basically the outlets that they used to sell before the pandemic. And I could see that some of the crops that are being sold in markets are limited in regards to shelf life for one thing, but there also are some of the crops that are being sold now are the melons and stuff that are longer shelf life, a couple of weeks longer. But however, the limitation here is that the volume is limited, and so much that the markets that are actually accepting produce now are very little, and they're limited also in space,
right,
and the amount they can get. In regards to that also brings down the prices. And then we got the surplus that farmers are just basically have at the fields or whatnot that are just rotting away.
right.
So I'm encouraging some of the farmers to try to do some value-added stuff if they can, or if they can do a cold storage, keep that, or give it away, or write it up as a loss, as a small business loss, so that they can claim that later with the taxes or whatnot, based on their small business as farmers, and to be able to compensate themselves by applying for the labor thing for the small business loss with the Department of Labor in regards to the pandemic system.
Can they donate these to?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking, John. Let's just fast forward to maybe we need to kind of involve all these guys and figure out how we can get this food to people who need it before it goes rotten.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. In fact, there's a non-profit organization that's actually doing that as we speak. Guam Sustainability or Sustainable. They actually are trying to procure some of the produce to give out to the needy and homeless and hungry.
John, can we get the name of that group again?
Guahan Sustainability.
Guahan Sustainability?
Yes.
Is there a contact person?
Marilyn?
Marilyn.
Yeah, they have a website.
Marilyn. Okay.
Veneria, I believe her last name. Yeah.
Okay. So they got a website. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So they've been helping, trying to get to donations to buy the produce from the farmers, and some farmers are actually donating their produce. Some just recently, the past 2 days, some farmers donated cucumbers, 250 pounds of cucumbers, 300 pounds of eggplant, stuff like that they couldn't sell. So I'm keeping track also of some of the farmers that are trying to produce now or put something in the ground for the months coming up or the weeks coming up after the lockdown. So that's a good thing that they're projecting and looking at the whole trend as to the demand and supply, so that nobody overproduce something. Unfortunately, we don't have a cottage home industry, and part of the strategic plan that we're working towards is to have something in that sense, to have a food bank, cottage home industry, so we can have all this surplus, all this stuff that when we have abundance of crops, we can process that into a byproduct or a value-added product that we can actually store, longer shelf life, and we can also maybe catch a niche market on it for the export potential.
John, what would you advise? You said farmers laying down the seeds for the months ahead. What crops are you advising them to plant? And when you advise this, is it kind of keeping an eye on what's going to be in demand and what's going to have a longer shelf life and stuff like that?
Yes, sir, that is correct. In fact, they gotta work it as a plan where strategically they know what's happening now in regards to the demand and supply, and to project 5 weeks, 6 weeks out to see what are the crops that can be quick returns in terms of microgreens, for example, Again, depending again on the situation, on the pandemic, whether the lockdown is lifted or not, the social distancing will place a big emphasis on the type of crops because of the uses of the crops. But for the eggplants, those are like 75 days down the road from seedling to crop to a fruit, and then other crops can be planted. But again, it's all in the planning, listening to the news, projecting, and to put down what you need to know is basically how many days it takes to produce a product, a crop, so that it overlaps, or it's a staggered planting, so that you don't have all the farmers planting the same thing at one time, and maybe some coordination. Who knows? Maybe X number of farmers will grow eggplant, X number of farmers grow cucumbers,
Right.
and whatnot, so nobody plants everything at one time, and
then the government of Guam buys it up. They buy all the produce, and then we do a food bank like we just saw in this Los Angeles story. Problem
Yes.
solved.
That would be a great master plan. That will be a great plan. When we don't have those things in place right now,
Mm-hmm.
we're working on something for down the road to put together a strategic plan that involves everything from food security, sustainability, and biosecurity, and also food bank included.
Right. That's good. That's good to hear, John. So what would your message be to the farmer out there who right now has, 20, 50, whatever, 100 pounds of golai just rotten?
Well, it's rotten, and basically, if you can give it to somebody that may have a livestock, but keep in mind social distancing. Some of the livestock producers don't have any of the restaurant waste that they acquired before the pandemic, so they may be happy to receive your rotten fruits and vegetables. In most cases, try to use up as best you can, and spoilage is the biggest thing. Make sure that you don't contaminate what you're eating in regards to storage wise. And basically share, keep in mind again social distancing. So what it is that basically, it's a rough times. Even I myself, I'm a farmer, and I'm finding it hard to comprehend as to what would the market really want down the road after this is all over. There's going to be a big production once this is over, because a lot of people are going to be back on their feet. They're going to be able to move around and to be able to market the stuff that they have been growing.
Right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Borja.
Yeah, John, appreciate it. So we're going to try and get hold of, it's the gusustainable.org is the website.
Or their Guahan Sustainable Culture on Facebook. There's a phone number here, so we'll try and give Marilyn a call. There's a couple other people that are on their team.
Hey, but good job for them. And John, thanks for keeping an eye on this.
No problem.
All right.
Right,
Take
animal
care.
feed. My friend Jessica
Yeah,
from the
animal
OJ Triton
feed.
farm has said animal feed and compost.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, that's great. Okay.
Right. Thank you, John.
No
Hey,
problem.
wash your hands, huh?
Yeah, I always do.
Okay, good. I know a farmer he got dirt on their fingernail. Thank you, John. Okay. Hey, 910 KUAM FM Agotni Guam again. It's containing COVID. Also want to try and get the Salvation Army Major Tom stand by and find out. They just got a big donation last week, so we'll talk to him, get him on the phone.